It'd be funny if he jumped off. If we're going to off the horse and then ran into a porta potty.
if we're following this particular script, he's unhappy with what he sees. He's got nothing to do, and he doesn't like this piece.
Yeah. I do want to, I found as I was looking for the production schedule, I did find one interesting quote that I really want to toss in here for our future discussions. And it's something that I meant to mention earlier, but it's from Arthur P. Jacobs. Once they established that they were going to make this last film, he made sure to bring J. Lee Thompson back, found working with him on Conquest to be very satisfying, a director that could deliver on schedule, make interesting visuals, etc. But his quote was, I'm sorry, this is actually attributed to his actions. Basically telling people we're going to make a kid picture, something that really appeals to families, no political implications, simply a kid's science fiction film. So when you know that, then you at least can begin to see, it isn't so urgent. Children are much more forgiving. Now, I also will tell you this. Children are the first to ask mommy, daddy, what that is going on. So if you're not pretty abundantly clear this person does that and that happens, if you're expected to read anything in an artistic manner, that ain't going to work for you. But I don't, as a kid's perspective, if this is now a kid's film, I don't think any child in the world is going to be, why is that gorilla riding? Why are they riding across the landscape? Why is everyone looking at them? They're just going, ooh, scary gorilla. So
maybe, yeah. Maybe that's what the primitive, Gilligan's Isle-esque, like trees and vines and carts with fruit on it. I mean, maybe they realize they don't need to do a budget with stuff that kids can again, it's the treehouse and the kids fort thing. They can believe this reality.
I did find this note in the Planet of the Apes wiki where the Dane's script didn't satisfy the employees. That's when the husband and wife team, the Corringtons, were brought in. They delivered something called Epic of the Planet of the Apes. And it's much more in line with the story that we're familiar with. So I'm sure there are tones and thoughts. I looked up above on some of the things, and it's pretty deep what they list. If you haven't ever seen this, it's planetoftheapes.fandom.com, and it's a wiki page that details pretty much the story development and production notes of every one of the Planet of the Apes movies. It's an interesting read. I'm not going to go into it because it's incredibly long. But if you are interested in how Dane could deliver one thing and this husband and wife team could pull something different from it, it's worth a read. However, it shows the reverence that the production team had for Dane, that they made sure to give him a story credit. He had helped them get through the majority of this, pulling together and creating what goes on to be the first franchise of its type. And they certainly didn't want to diss him when he was nearing the end of his life. But it's kind of an interesting little note. This minute doesn't do a lot for us as far as storytelling other than establish. I do think it is interesting that we see people running away from the gorilla. We see people kind of looking. We know something's going on about he's back and they kind of want to talk about something. We see credits for J. Lee Thompson for directing. It's just another one of those moments where not a lot happens other than a scary gorilla in camp.
Yeah, we understand this is a sizable camp because the horse is not riding slow, so he's going through it, and we're seeing a lot of apes, not a lot of humans, and everybody is Russell, what's going on?
When you say that, I'm going to extend this just 2 seconds longer than I thought I would. Last night, I'm flipping TV while I'm making my notes about these minutes because I watch them on the computer and I always have TV in the background. And Hot Fuzz is on. Edgar Wright, Sean Penn. I'm not Sean Penn. Sean Penn. My God, now I can't think of Simon Pegg. God, I couldn't think of his name.
I think it's Shaun of the Dead, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I got Shaun of the Dead. Great film that is so vastly different in the way it can present a sequence because you look at how long this ape rides. You go watch Edgar Wright, and it is such a succession of quick little
cut. Like 4 cuts sets the scene.
And there's that scene where he's chasing the person in the cloak through the florist. And it really is a bunch of swish pans and weird shots that then we'll have one shot for 3 seconds and then I know
but
that
you understand what's going on.
You do, and I know that is a language that did not come about until much later, and I'm not asking the filmmakers here to do that. The urgency of that and the kind of things and the cuts and all that would have been a little nice to break up some of this stuff. But again, it's a film language that was not even thought of at that time. So just a weird juxtaposition as I was watching it last night. I was like, wow, golly, this dude, how do you shoot this film where it's just a bunch of swish bands? Interesting stuff. Anyway. Anybody got anything
But there
else?
is something to be said for, a good long one shot.
Absolutely.
But it's got to have, Daredevil, the first season, when they were doing that fight scene in the hallway and it's all one shot.
Yeah.
That's motivated. You see, because you're seeing somebody get worn down. When you're just seeing a horse ride across a river for 20 seconds, what's the purpose of that?
Well, and it's to what I said before. If you're watching Citizen Kane, considered to be one of the greatest achievements in filmmaking ever, there are whole sequences that play out in one long and very deep focus shot, but it's composed so beautifully and so much is happening that your eye is drawn to. And to your point, when you're in a riverbed and all you see is a bunch of reeds in front of you and a gorilla riding towards it, after a while it goes tiresome. Then again, you also have Lawrence of Arabia where we have, a 3-minute sequence of one person riding across the Sierra. But you better have something interesting in it. And
yeah.
It would have been nice, even though you're shooting a kiddie film, if they'd done a little bit more of a sequence building effort in this. Yeah. Anyway, I think that's it. Anybody got anything else?
Just for me.
All right. Minute 8 in the books. We'll be back tomorrow. Minute 9. Everyone have a great day.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
The minute of the apes. The minute